Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, the abominable truth. We have talked about how to save information for a long time, but we have not talked much about what to save. And I say we want to save, or we should save, the abominable truth. First of all, what is the truth? The truth is the invention of a liar, which is something Hans von Förster said, and he's of course right. Because the truth in itself, as the ancient philosophers have already figured out, can only be known by the gods and not by humans. So, Barton Bloch says only the known false can ever be true. And I would say, Barton Bloch says that the only person to truly trust is a liar, because the liar relates to the truth. And the truth in itself cannot be surely known. So, lies. Lies? How can you tell lies the most effectively? It's of course by telling the truth. Telling the truth is the most effective, the strongest, the darkest way of telling lies. How to do that? The most effective lie is the truth. How do I do that? Select the data which suits you best and omit or discard the data which does not. You can use only proven data. An example. Let's assume I want to convince everybody that all citizens of Berlin are criminals. It's not true, but let's just say I want to convince you or anybody else that all citizens of Berlin are criminals. Which is simple. I just released an article about a person from Berlin who has been proven to be a criminal, has been proven beyond any doubt. And I release articles like that for a year. After a year, everybody thinks Berlin citizens are criminals. Historically, this has happened in the Nazi regime. Joseph Goebbels was the first one to use electronic media to try to convince the citizens of Germany that the Jewish people were criminals. And at first, at least, he did make reports about Jewish people who live in Germany that actually have committed crimes. And with this strategy, he tried and horribly succeeded in convincing many German people that the Jewish people were criminals, which they are not, of course. But this strategy is being applied by almost all ideologies I know. Doesn't matter which ideology it is. So how to lie about using provable facts? It's being done today, of course. Terrorism, for example. There's this myth, this legend, this fairy tale that there was a terrorist threat. There is none. And that's not a conspiracy theory. I don't say that the terrorist attacks didn't happen or were faked or staged. What I'm saying is that there is absolutely no terrorist threat here in Germany. It is not. But by citing true reports about terrorist attacks that have happened, people believe that there is a terrorist threat. The German Criminal Office, Bundeskriminalamt, has or releases a statistic about the causes of death in Germany each year, and it is very neutral. They just say exactly what people in Germany, who live in Germany, who are in Germany, die of. 40% of the people, around 40%, it varies a little bit, but I need to tell you, 1% of the population dies every year. That's just what happens. They die, for whatever reason. Around 40% of the people die because their heart gives up. About 35% of people die because they have cancer or cancerous diseases. Then nothing. And 0.05%, 0.05%, where is it? 0.035% of the people die because of human doing something or not doing something, including neglect. It's not only murder, it's also neglect and accidents and everything. 0.05%. And the German Criminal Office doesn't say how many, what part of that is really due to terrorism, but it is so tiny that it is an absolutely stupid thing to be afraid of terrorism. It is absolutely stupid. Fighting against terrorism is like getting a cast on your arm after you've broken your leg. It is totally useless. I'm not saying don't have anti-terrorist police or whatever, but I'm just saying if you want to be afraid of something, be afraid of other things. I'm saying this might sound like a joke, but it isn't. McDonald's is by far more dangerous than Al-Qaeda. It's true. It's true, because I'm not saying don't eat at McDonald's. I'm not saying you live a healthy life, you can do whatever you want. But if you want to be afraid of something, the golden M is a symbol of danger. Right? Marlboro is more dangerous than the Islamic State, of course. So if you wanted to destroy the West, just invent an excellent barbecue sauce with a lot of fat and sugar, and do not build bombs but fry burgers. That is by far more effective. If you really hate the West, fry burgers. Right. Anyway, you can drink as much alcohol as you want, you can eat whatever you want, but if you want to be afraid of something, please, not terrorism. The same thing but this fear has been instilled by telling the truth. True facts about about terrorist attacks. I don't think that 9/11 or something was faked. I don't think that the bus that ran into a bunch of people in Berlin was faked. No, I believe that. But still, it's just so highly unlikely that we die of terrorism. It's like having your head in the open mouth of an alligator and at the same time be afraid of being struck by lightning. It's just idiotic. It's true. That sounds like jokes, but it isn't. It is really true. The same thing could be said about the swine flu. Some years ago, there was this pandemic, that evil disease called the swine flu. And people were afraid, strangely, they were afraid of getting the swine flu, which is stupid too, because the normal flu, the average flu that happens every year, killed like 4 times more people. So if you have the flu, you should pray to God that it is the swine flu, because it's by far less dangerous than the actual flu, right? So, but everybody was afraid of the swine flu because they presented true facts about people dying of the swine flu. In the whole epidemic, 188 people have died in Europe. 188 people is a lot of people, but I think 100 million died of other things. So, yeah. The abominable truth is this. I'm going to get to that. Next thing, you're not going to like this. Alice Schwarzer, you maybe know her for, she's the founder of German feminism and has achieved quite a lot, which was very important for the German society. But she wrote a book which was horrifying to me. She wrote a book about sexual offenses towards women, rapes and other horrible crimes, and which I believe are true, and she concluded that men are offenders, women are their victims. This horrifies me because it is totally accepted, and if you would say that about fugitives, you would land in jail. But apparently you can say that about men. Just generalized accusations are, by telling the truth, are evil. How do far-right propaganda, the German neo-Nazis and their political parties, I'm not sure how to call them, I call them clowns, but those clowns say that fugitives were criminals by citing fugitives who have actually committed crimes, and by omitting the fact that those fugitives, fugitives have a slightly lower crime rate than Germans. So we're actually importing less crime, statistically. And this is also, again, facts, always true, provable facts, which paint a totally flawed and wrong picture. I have more examples. How to lie by using provable facts. I've talked about the far right, now I'm talking about the far left. The far left I have proof of that. I have really documents about that. They say they're citing mass layoffs in Germany while managers receive huge salaries. They get millions of euros a year and fire like 2,000 people. They neglect to mention, and I think that's intentional, they neglect to mention that 95% of the German economy consists of small and middle-sized enterprises. Yeah, I've talked to one of them before, and she did not believe that, because she is angry about the great capital. I'm still no idea where this anger comes from, because it's just a small, very small portion of the German economy. What is a small and middle-sized enterprise? It has been defined by the European Union. It's enterprises with less than 250 employees and with a balance sum of, I don't remember the exact number, but it is defined. And this definition is being contested without knowing it, which is another dark thing to do, to try to combat, to fight against a definition that has been exhaustively discussed for 40 years without paying any respect to these definitions. They actually go as far as declaring war on the rich, which is a dark thing to do. I mean, if you would declare war on, like, Jewish people, that would be bad, really, really bad. But apparently you can declare war on the rich by also not mentioning that it is the so-called rich which are the most fundamental supporters of all social projects, every single one I know, at least. So yeah, they also omit the fact that while managers in reality earn around 100,000 euros a year, they usually have a 50 to 70 hours work week. And if you calculate the salary per hour, many managers are actually underpaid. So, information by omission, lies by telling the truth. What can we do? In my opinion, the solution is retain and save unabridged, uninterpreted, clean, raw data. Raw data that has not been modified, not been interpreted, not been discussed in any way. Retain this information. That is what I truly believe is very important. This raw data could be statistics, statistical numbers, including the method of gathering said data. You need to know not only what the result is, but also how you got it. An example, how to scientifically fail miserably. Just an example how science can actually fail horribly, really horribly. You have heard of electronic cigarettes, right? And there was, I think it was an English university clinic that has done research whether or not those electronic cigarettes are dangerous or more dangerous than tobacco smoke or whatever. And those monkeys, really, have used the same machine that is being used to test tobacco products, so cigarettes and cigars and whatever. And they have installed an electronic cigarette into this machine, the same machine, activated the fire, activated the electronic current, and measured the poisonous substances that came out. And I believe those scientists need to give their diplomas back. Because how stupid is that? I mean, if a 5-year-old would have done that, that would have been okay, but grown-up scientists knew. The problem is that if you continuously fire or have your electronic cigarette on continuously, it gets extremely hot. And the chemicals in the liquid decompose and build formaldehyde and a lot of poisonous substances, but no person ever would smoke or would vape a vaping device like that. So this scientific analysis is so massively flawed that it cannot be trusted. So, by the way, never numbers are liars. Never trust numbers. You have faked yourself. And numbers are liars. Like, as I said, 188 people died because of 188 people have died because of the swine flu, out of several hundred million. If you're afraid of the swine flu, I don't know why. Like, a person who was afraid of the swine flu probably is heavily depressed, needs psychiatric help, really. So, the abominable truth is abominable, it is feared and hated, because it undoes a lot of hate propaganda. Hate propaganda like Joseph Goebbels used to defamate the Jewish people. It can be used to learn who murdered Gaius Julius Caesar. Your data can be used to understand that there is no terrorist threat. Really is no terrorist threat. Taking a shower is more dangerous. Really. Raw data can be used that the rich are the foremost supporters of generous social projects. Raw data can be used to learn the abominable truth. The abominable truth comes out of said raw data and is often regarded to be a lie because it is counterintuitive. Just if I say there's no terrorist threat, most people react in why there is a big terrorist threat, but it isn't. So this kind of truth is being despised and hated, which is why I call it abominable. There is also one thing I would want to say. People, human beings, are sickly addicted to fear. Addicted to fear. People, human beings, want to fear. It's one of the most important parts of society. Why is that? By the way, I didn't make that up. That is Christoph or Christian Wolff, not the ex-president, but the anthropologist, said that it's because our brains haven't changed since the Stone Ages or before. In the Stone Ages, we were under constant threat. We could have been eaten by predators, we could have been stomped to death by elephants, and so on and so forth. But in these times, we knew the face of our enemy. We knew the face of danger. We knew that if I see an elephant, I go away because the elephant is really dangerous. If I saw another person and I saw that this person has the markings of another tribe, I know, okay, we are at war with this tribe, so they are dangerous. I have to go away or fight it, or whatever, I don't care. But today we don't have this anymore. We have no predatory animals, at least not in Europe, at least not here, at least, I guess. I mean, maybe in Australia, but we're not under threat by anything. And this is why true propaganda works so well. It gives us gives our enemy a face. Like the terrorists are the biggest threat of our time. Die Weltstates, Salafismus was the greatest threat of our time, and called it a megalomaniac death cult. Really, that's even a heavy metal description. Megalomaniac death cult. I want to make a song about this. But in truth, it is, as I said, it is no threat whatsoever. I mean, the threat is so little that it is just not even worth mentioning. But people are addicted to fear like a junkie looking for a fix. And that is the reason why those propagandistic facts work so well. Yeah, this is also, I say that because I want raw data being retained forever, not the interpretations that I don't care about those, but for future generations to look upon it and learn what actually happened. They say history is being written by the winners of wars, which is wrong. Recent history may be written by the winners of wars, but in the long run, I believe, in most cases, the truth comes out. So that's that. The abominable truth is that the world does not get worse, but better. Everything gets better all the time. If you don't believe that, please tell me when it was better. Really, when was the world a better place than now? I really don't know. Humans get healthier and live longer. They complain about kids getting fatter and fatter, and they do. But still, they are healthier than they have ever been, ever in the history of humankind. Humans never have been healthier. And yeah, there are Ebola epidemics in Central and West Africa. Yeah, and those are bad, and many people suffer and die from them, yeah. But they do it less than before. There are very promising solutions for environmental problems. There are so many highly promising solutions, like biodegradable plastic and clean energy and whatever. I can do a whole talk about this, but I'm not going to do that now. The abominable truth also is that wars get less frequent than ever. If you don't believe that, tell me when it was better. The next thing is, yeah, the abominable truth is that world hunger, drug use, and crime are on a steady decline. They're going down all the time. I mean, the reason why many people believe they're going up horribly is that the media always reports when it goes up. It never reports when it goes down. Just imagine a headline, or like unemployment. There was a headline several years ago that says, "Unemployment on the massive rise in Bielefeld." Not lying. They closed like a big factory in Bielefeld, and they, of course, yeah, they closed the factory, so the unemployment just went through the roof in Bielefeld. But not really. Life and the world gets better and better and better all the time. It goes back, but like it goes 2 steps forward, 1 step back. We only hear about the steps back. Maybe USA there is like 10 steps back, but they will advance again. So again, if you don't believe in that the world is a good place and it gets better constantly, please tell me when it was better. My final slide is the abominable truth is you are going to be okay. Thank you very much.
Any questions?
Yeah.
There's no
I expected that. Yeah. Who is first?
Oh, no, I look behind you, sorry. I have to contradict what you said.
Of course. I would have been very, 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 very disappointed if nobody did that.
On slide 10, you said that foreigners are less criminal than Germans.
Yeah.
You cited the BKA statistics on slide 8. You could have also cited the BKA statistics for slide 10.
I did.
Yes. The principal error you made is you confused foreigners with migrants. And if you check the official statistics, you find out that 40.4% of all crimes in Germany are committed by foreigners. 44% of all people in prison are foreigners. So it's certainly not true that we don't report crime without any judgment. I don't know whether you fell into your trap there or that was a test for the audience, but
no,
absolutely not true.
So I have the statistics.
What type of crime are we talking about? Because in the United States, a majority of the prisoners are black men and Latinos. And the crimes that they are held for in prison, white men are not held accountable for the same crimes. So could it be that the crimes that migrants, 44%, are committing is something that natives are forgiven for?
Can I interrupt? Because it's kind of off topic. This is perfect discussion over lunch.
No, it's not. That's a claim he's making for something.
I get it, but it's
official statistics.
excuse me, it's about Human Document Project.
Yeah.
No, but I mean,
we just heard that we should store the raw data to avoid this kind of
Yeah,
right?
exactly. That's the point.
Your question.
I wanted to answer maybe. I have the statistics and I looked at it, and it says that the non-Germans are just slightly less criminal than.
Yeah,
this is just what the numbers say.
We propose to put the raw data there. We don't possibly. And I.
So I have a remark in the question. The remark is, if everything is getting better, why should we care about keeping the stuff for future generations? There is no sorrow, there's no risk. I mean, everything is getting better, so we will keep it for the long term. My remark, my question is actually, do you really believe that raw data is the solution? If you talk to researchers from natural sciences, they will tell you raw data is a mess, and if they don't clean it and error correction, you will misinterpret that data all the time.
Yeah.
And I think that is true for nearly any statistics you can find. You really need to know how to interpret the data.
I know.
Raw data is actually additional risk of misinterpretation.
No. Okay. First of all, I'm not saying that. First of all, cleaning up raw data is changing the data. And that's the problem. And I believe in 1,000 years or in whatever, we will still have scientists who know how to handle raw data. I do. And I just say that. I just do know that. And I believe that the people who come after me will know that too. And they will figure it out how to handle raw data. But if it has been cleaned, it is so nice and so easy to use to say something wrong. That's the problem. So just a moment, 3,500 people died in 9/11. How many millions did die because of something else? Yeah.
I think the point is clear.
That's right. Sorry.
I would like to see the raw data that you use in order to come to the conclusion that because of Stone Age humans, we are now living in fear, or this is an inheritance. Because I think the raw data there is not allowing us to make such a just so story.
Yeah.
Because this sounds really like something that is just served. The other point is we are living in 2017 now. The question actually whether we have less wars or something like that is something we should ask in 100 years maybe. Because given that we are just past the century where 6 million people, or even more, like 6 million Jews were killed or something like that. Before it was, I think it was less people that were killed in the wars, yes, in the 19th century than 20th century, so we have an increase there.
So first of all, in medieval ages, in many parts of Europe, it was actually worse than being in a time of peace. than being in a time of war.
Do you have the raw data?
The first thing, the raw data is just really the book I read by a very famous anthropologist. It's called Christian or Christoph Wolff. Just check it out. There's a whole chapter about that. I haven't memorized the whole chapter. Second, in many times in medieval ages was the peace times were actually a problem, because in medieval ages we first had professional warriors, professional people who only earned something while at war, which is why they went and raided their own villages if they didn't have a job at that time. It's true. And I know that this from Achim Weiss. He was a professor in Weimar. And wars do not get, maybe the thing is, we now know of every bad thing that happened. We didn't 100 years ago. And that is why this illusion that the world gets worse is so intense.
Abominable Truth is that there's one question. One more question, and then the rest we have to do otherwise.
Two remarks from the archival perspective.
Sorry, what?
Two remarks from an archival perspective. One thing is, I think raw data is important, but the decisions taken are also important. They are all a result of decisions taken in the last centuries, and you should distinct also this decisions taken from raw data, and both areas are suited for preservation for the future. That was my one remark, and the second one is today you can look onto the plausibility of raw data because you have context information, and you miss this context information in some decades or 100 years. This is the reason why traditional archives say it's better to take plausibility statistics which were proven on plausibility better than to take the raw data, because in the future you don't have opportunities to bring it together with the context information.
I mean, of course, we need context information. That's I didn't doubt that. I did only have 20 minutes. I mean, I could make this a whole semester. But yeah, of course, context data is important. Sure, that's why, like in art history, you always, if you interpret a piece of art, you really have to also tell the readers about who the artist is. Like the extremely heavy metal guy called Jan Vermeer, who was absolutely provocative, but nobody who doesn't know about art sees that. But yeah, I'm sure context information is important.
May I suggest that we continue?
Yeah, we can continue this.
Thank you very much.